babies looking for food, starvation, the recipe to see is the day in every clue. Don't let it go, it's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets, with the people in the slums and the homeless bums, with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's easy to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about control the air or the weather, I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack, and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in a way that's subtle. If you stop the machines for a minute, you might hear, but they won't, cause the TVs whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ad, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.
Alrighty, everybody. Let me know if the audio is good before I get started here. This is going to be quick, not too quick, but it's not going to be 2 hours, and I'm going to be straight to the point. Let me just check the audio real quick. Okay. It's there. Now, folks, you know, as I've been saying for quite some time, I'm going to repeat it. A few things. I'm an American. I live overseas. I'm born and raised in Washington, D.C. My family comes on both sides from the beginning of the country. Okay? That means pre-Civil War. Okay? That means, you know, Declaration of Independence. That means colonial America. You understand that? Now, I'm only saying that because we have had fake, phony, racist bigots declare the United States of America to be what they describe as their heritage. And it has nothing to do with American heritage. It has everything to do with racism, bigotry, and misogyny, anti-human concepts. Anti-American is what they're actually talking about when they say Heritage Foundation. These people that have conspired against American citizens, they are anti-American, and they are bigots. They are misogynists. They are anti-women, and they are anti-life, and they are sociopaths, pretty much. Pretty much. They have a warped sense of what being an American is. A lot of them family members do not have anything to do with America, the evolution of the United States, anything like that. Elon Musk doesn't. It was just about the money and him being okay with spreading Nazi shit, right? And laughing about it and linking up with other people with money to enslave American people. And that means all of you, even you broke asses. Okay? Now, they've been doing this for a minute. And, unfortunately, a lot of people did not catch on in time. You had some people who really believed in democracy, that believed in your right to vote. But those people who believed in your right in the Constitution, enough people didn't stand behind. Enough people did not stand behind. And so what you have right now is the alternative. Unfettered billionaires, unfettered, who really could care less about human life on earth at all, let alone in the United States of America, let alone the concept of what being an American is truly. They don't care about that. They care about global power. And if they have to kill a whole lot of people to get it, they will. Of course, they're not going to tell you. They wouldn't say that. But you need to check your ass, because that's what's going on in the United States of America. Hurricane hit your town, you paid the taxes, you will get no support. Okay? That's the America, that's the United States you're living in right now. Okay? Where these wealthy oligarchs prop up some, got a tax break, and the people who actually pay for the federal government's operation couldn't even get help when a natural disaster strikes. It's because they want to exterminate you. They want you dead. The more of you dead, the better. You got to understand this. And unfortunately, a lot of these red state poor people don't get that for some reason. That's really strange, but it's because they could feed you the misogyny and bigotry and the religious bullshit and this whole idea. They fooled you all. They fooled you. They fooled you into it. Now, Trump just showed up after 6 days of not being in the public, right? And we know a lot about why that is. It's because the man is sick and he's old, and he's about to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell as one of his last acts, which I've been saying for quite some time. Those of you that's been following me, I've been telling you this. Even some experts, I'm telling you, and it's no pun to experts, because everybody gives their analysis how it is. But the experts have not always been the best, right? He is going to give Ghislaine Maxwell a pardon before he steps down from power, under the guise that he is sick, because he is sick. J.D. Vance is about to become the president, right? Lieu of that. And they have known this the entire time. They've known this the entire time. This has been their plan. Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, they wouldn't tell you in advance, but anyone who has comprehension skills, decent comprehension skills, doesn't need anyone to tell them. See, people who need the media to tell them are people to tell you exactly what's happening, are people that don't need the media to give them data points, because if all you need is data points, you could read left, you could read right, you could read any information and just extract the data points. Fuck the opinion, extract the data points, and you could see where the problem really lies. So intelligent people could see this play a long time ago. It's the stupid people that couldn't see it, that need someone to tell them. And those stupid people generally fall for right-wing religious movements, misogynistic tropes, anti-LGBT tropes. They usually go for the distraction, go look off for the 1% of the thing that's not really there, in order to use it and weaponize it against the 50% that's there, 60% that's there somewhere else, which, and by the way, the 50 and 60%, that would be the people that should want their goddamn constitutional rights, should want health care, should want education, better access to education, those things. They got diverted from that. I mean, United States citizens Sure, they probably got tricked with Elon Musk. He probably manipulated. There was gerrymandering to help get Trump in office. There was messing up, mixing up, whatever, screwing over the digital electronic voting, or somehow they've done things, right? They've used every effort to make sure this old, stinking ass, hateful man whose best friend was a pedophile and sex trafficker, which you don't need the media to tell you espionage was at play. All you need is your brain. All you need is the comprehension skills to tell you espionage was at play with Epstein, and Trump is one of the people that has been likely with those little girls, but also manipulated by others who know. Who would the others be? It would be the rich folk. It would be the data security people. It would be the folks that actually are inside of that too. You see, they're all connected in a web. And right now, they got their tax break and you ain't get shit. You didn't get shit. Now, I've been telling people this before. I'm going to repeat it again. If you live in a state where you have gun rights, calmly and peacefully go down and request a license for a gun. Just very simple, just to protect your home and your community, like the red states do. Right? Just to do that, because sooner or later you don't know where the Supreme Court is going to side on in terms of your gun rights. You don't know, because the Supreme Court has been basically paid off. Of course, they're not going to want to make it look obvious to you. They're going to slow walk you up to that point. They're going to slow walk you up to that point. And then all of a sudden, for the first time in history, you're going to hear the Supreme Court say, yeah, people shouldn't have the rights to have all kinds of weapons. That won't be good. Yeah, we want to limit that. Exactly. They're going to move towards that. And there's a reason why. Because Trump is going to put the Gestapo and J.D. Vance and the rest of them, they are planning on putting the Gestapo on the American people, because they know the American people are not down with slavery. And the people that voted for Trump, they voted for modern day slavery, whether you realize it or not, except this time, some of the poor white people, they haven't always been slave masters. Not all of them. Some of them just been broke as fuck from the beginning of U.S. history. They weren't all aristocrats, Now, this is not an anti-reparations argument. I'm just saying what it is. I'm pro-reparations for African Americans, but I'm just saying what it is. There was a lot of broke-ass white folk, too. There was a lot in, but these Heritage Foundation people don't want to tell you this, the real deal about the United States of America or America. They are anti-American. You see, they don't want all Americans having rights. They want to use this to put Americans in a civil war, and it's working very well, because they want to seize power over the strongest country on earth. It is an attack. It always has been an attack. It's been an attack. It's been an attack on every single American citizen. It's just so many of you could not recognize it, because you need to be spoon-fed information. You need to be spoon-fed truth. Nobody's going to do that for you. You got to stand up and pull up your pants yourself, goddammit. Use your comprehension skills. Use them. I've been saying this for a minute. The real travesty of the Epstein files is not simply that 1,000 little girls got sex trafficked. That's not the only thing. The other big crime is that they were used for espionage against Americans and others, aristocrats, people that hold high positions in power, maybe judges, congressional members, senators, presidents, right? And others, wealthy folk, who knows, Elon Musk. See, all these folks, they knew about this shit way before it became a story, because they want control. They're vying for control. But you know who's on the bottom of that list? Poor Americans, citizens, middle class American citizens, mothers, and everybody else. You are at the bottom of the list. The United States of America has never given reparatory justice for women suffrage in the United States. They have never done that. They have never done it for African Americans in slavery. They have never done that, and they don't intend on doing it. In fact, they literally believe women's place is in the goddamn kitchen, making grits and gravy. Period. That's what these elitists literally think, which makes them sociopaths. Which makes them no better than any slave master, than any sex trafficker. It makes them no better. I'm just telling you. I ain't forcing it down your throat, though. I mean, I could give a damn because as an American, my duty to my fellow American is to only tell you how I see it. It is not my duty to drag you to the drinking well. It's not my duty to drag lazy-minded people any goddamn where, or stupid people. Okay? I don't live in the United States of America, although both sides of my family comes, and I was born in the United States of America, and both sides of my family go all the way back to the colonial period. But I don't live in the United States of America. Where I live, we have universal education, universal health care. Just because people do not see nation as meaning wealthy people own it. People where I live see nation as everyday people own it and have equal right to their voice. Period. You rich, wealthy bastards have no more say in what goes on in the society than the brokest of the broke. That's what that's supposed to mean. But in the United States of America, it doesn't mean that. So you don't have universal education. You literally do not have the right to a fucking education in the wealthiest country on earth. You don't. Because you're a fucking slave. You literally don't have the right to universal health care in the richest country on earth. I'm talking about citizens. I'm not talking about the immigrants. I'm not talking about illegal aliens. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about the citizens. You don't have the fucking right because you're a fucking slave and you don't even know American history well enough to know what the fuck slavery is. That's how stupid you are. In any case, I can hear my damn alarm going off. All right, let me go on. Now, check this out. Trump's ass has been gone, and everybody knows why Trump has been gone. It's no secret why Trump has been gone. It's never been a secret. It's only been a secret to dumbasses. I mean, if you don't know the man is sickly and on his last leg, where the hell you been? What kind of family members do you have? You never seen old sick people before? What the fuck? What the fuck? Again, the media is not going to tell you because a lot of these media outlets are fucking afraid themselves of just getting sued. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them can't tell you what the obvious thing is. You see what I mean? They're not going to risk their life for you. But you better start learning how to risk your life for you, because if you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. If the middle class and the poor do not rise up in the United States of America, nobody else is going to do it for you. People around the world are going to watch you sink into whatever hell you're about to sink into, because they are going to need to look after themselves first also, because you don't fucking listen. Save yourself first, then you save another. That's exactly what's going on right now. Canada is protecting themselves first. And if they can lend a hand to Americans, they gladly would. But that just ain't that time right now. Defending yourself is that time right now. You see, the EU could do that. Mexico could do that. Anybody, a lot of people could do that. A lot of people in America understand they don't want another tyrannical tyrant U.S. government. But they understand this is exactly what they have gotten out of Trump. And this is exactly what they will continue to get, even more of it, if these people are not removed from power and American people do not restore democracy. If they don't restore it, it is a threat to everyone else, including all Americans on the American continent and everybody else outside of it. Now, look, in case you don't know why Trump has been gone for 6 days, it's because he's old as fuck and sick and they're trying to keep it a secret. JD Vance knew that. The last time JD Vance went into the news thing, we're going to play that again. He talked about it, how he's ready to become president. And I said instantly, yeah, no dud, dipshit. We know you're ready to become president because that was the plan the entire time. He looked like he was confident. He looked like he didn't, he was basically stone-faced while he said it, because JD Vance is calmly stone-faced when he's making any statements publicly. That's because he doesn't want to let you know that he already knows what's going on and that there is a plan going on, and that yes, Trump is fucking sick, and that yes, the plan was for him to be the president the entire time because of Peter Thiel. You see, so he's not going to tell you that. All he's going to say is the president looks better than ever. His health records are this and that. He gets up before everybody else. He checks out after everybody else. He's consistent. He does this. Come on, motherfucker. That's just code word for the old motherfucker is sick and it's your time to shine. That's what that is. And he doesn't want the American citizen to be aware of what the fuck they're planning. So he's lying to you, stone face. He's lying to you. Let's take a look at this. For those that want to know, Trump was diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency after visible swelling and bruises. How serious is it? Well, just Google it or chat GDP it, and you will figure out that it's connected to other problems too. So when you review this and you deal with a person with vein problems, vascular issues, blood flow problems in their entire damn body, they're going to have other problems too. They're going to be cranky. They're going to have all other types of health problems connected to this kind of shit. You see what I mean? That's how health works. That's literally how it works. Let's read. Let me see here. Come on. All right. First of all, they have right here. Look, in July, U.S. President Trump diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency, CVI, after swelling and bruises. How come you didn't hear legacy media running out saying, yeah, man, Trump is fucking sick as fuck, yo. Damn, Trump is sick as hell. He's about to keel over, man. Goddamn, Trump. You know they dragged Trump's ass out of his 6-day disappearing act because they know people have been saying, yo, man, your ass hasn't been around in a while, and people are starting to say you're sick as fuck. They're starting to catch on to what's going on. So you know they did something to drag his ass out again to try to make him look healthy. But you cannot fake this. You can't fake it. Look at them damn ankles. You can't fake. This equals the same shit that it always equals on anybody with ankles like this. You got to understand that there's more to this story. It's not just the ankles. It's the entire body and how it functions. You do not go out and have a nice day of golf with ankles like this or anything else associated with it. Just be clear. It's a photo op. Okay, let's see here. But rumors have persisted. Hashtags on internet. Trump is dead. Made rounds. Yeah, everybody hashtag that. Trump is dead. Hashtag JD Vance is going to be president. Hashtag they fooled us again. All right, let's go on. Distasteful rumors. Nothing could be distasteful when talking about Trump, because Trump is distasteful himself, and his entire cabinet is distasteful. They don't give a damn about saying something fucked up about women, about anybody, anyone, black, Latino, women, elderly, disabled, anything. You think they care about being tasteful? Another gaslighting attempt. But it is distasteful, but we're in a administration. We're in a United States of America of distastefulness. That's what we're in. The rumors of U.S. President Donald Trump trended on social media after the MAGA chief remained out of public eye for more than 72 hours, right? Amid mounting concerns about his health. Hashtags Trump is dead. Where is Trump? He's dead trended on X as Trump was not seen after 3 hours after the 3-hour White House cabinet meeting. Yeah. All right, let's go on. Oh my goodness. And if he died, I'm sure a lot of people going to go piss on his grave too. They should have that. Hashtag piss on Trump's grave. Speculations and rumors about the 79-year-old president went triggered by concerns about his health over the past few weeks. Many TV cameras have shown him with bruises and purple patches on his hands and swollen legs and ankles, sparking concerns about the president's health. Everybody's seen those bruises. But the thing about Trump is when you're in a cult, a bruise has to be a badge of, warrior status. It's not a badge of you're corrupt from the inside and you are like gluttonous as fuck. No, not that at all. No, not that for MAGA folk. In July, the White House announced that President Trump has been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. I mean, this is in July. You see how the media just like pretty much put soft pause on this story. But now, since he's been gone for 6 days, some decided to step up. And this is not even legacy media. Legacy media is not really running it like that. Not reminding people of the fact that dude is terribly sick. Like, seriously. Trump is the oldest person to serve a second term. He faced intensifying scrutiny over his age and cognitive fitness, though his physicians recently declared him fully fit after a comprehensive physical and included a perfect score on the Montreal Cognitive Assessment. Public concerns about his health remains. Yeah, because people ain't stupid. People ain't stupid, or not everybody. I take that back. A lot of people are stupid, but not everybody. The White House released a memo from the president's physician, Sean Barbella. I like to find out who that is. Which revealed the president was diagnosed with CVI after he noticed swelling in his legs. Damn, how come Trump doesn't just come out and say, "Hey y'all, I'm having a bout with my CVI. Yeah, it happens with old age. It's a what is it? Cardiovascular issue, really, veins, right? It's a flow of blood problem in my body that affects all types of stuff." No, you won't get that from Trump. Trump is going to hit the golf course, talk about people in his last day. He's going to talk about how great Ghislaine Maxwell is, by the way. And that's what he's going to do. The president underwent a comprehensive examination, including diagnostic vascular studies, bilateral lower extremity venous Doppler. Right, because obviously you got swelling in the legs, so it's all in your legs. And when you got the patches in your hands, so it's in your upper body too. Is it in your brain? Is it in your brain also? Likely blood clotting to come, things like this, right? When was the last time you saw a person doing well with anything connected to this? Usually people sit the fuck down and get out of their job and go on retirement and shit, But they know this because, listen, y'all, they need the timing to work for the midterm elections. They need the timing to work also for the Ghislaine Maxwell pardon. So they didn't want to do it too fast, the pardon, because they know that the public is all on that. So they're trying to wait it out as long as they can. But they have a problem. Every day that they wait is another day closer to the midterm elections. Listen, y'all, if you haven't clicked the like button, click the like button for a brother. Like I said, I'm only saying this because I'm a fellow American. If you do not like fellow Americans like me, who's born in the United States of America, whose family on both sides go back to the beginning of the country, who respects the real history of the country and all people that have a connection to that. If you don't like that, F you. I don't care. I don't live in the US. I still have health care. What the fuck? My kids get paid to go to school. I don't care about you. If you're not smart enough to care about yourself, I don't care about you. But click the like button if you do care about it, brother. And subscribe if you do. Now, yeah, because the subscriptions, and become a member, by the way, y'all, because the membership, as this politic gets more heated, I'm going to have to start doing more private streams only for members, like straight up, because you have to understand this situation is going to get more heated and there's going to be constrictions on media in the future. You have to understand that more constrictions than you have already had to see. I'm telling you. So, yeah, at least that's my prognosis. Now, check this out. What is the chronic venous insufficiency? It's when the veins of the body do not work well. Duh. You need, well, where do you have veins? All over. Any place you want to work, you need veins to work well. If you want to get an erection, if you're a man, you need your veins to work. If you want, how many men prefer to be able to have a healthy erection out there? You know what I'm saying? Well, this will stop that. You see what I mean? You might want to be concerned about your health if you have that issue. Now, like Trump, pretty sure Trump is not getting none. He's not getting it anywhere. He's not getting it. Trump, I'll put $1 million down on him and Melania don't get it on. Okay? And it's okay to say that. If I'm wrong, fuck it. But I will bet. I will bet you some money they don't get it on. No. Melania, I will bet you Melania is getting hers on somewhere else. Okay? Because Trump is an old fucking gluttonous pig who is basically about to die. Okay? He's going to get sickly. J.D. Vance about to be the president. The real Nazi. The real Peter Thiel clone. The one that doesn't even think humanity should continue. Yeah. This article, feel free to read it. You can get it if you're interested. If you're not interested, you don't have to, right? You don't have to read it at all. It's nothing. But in any way, dude is going out. Now, that said, we have who's coming in, right? We have who's coming in. Who's coming in? Whew, man, oh man. You just
for the human race to endure,
do that if you
right?
like.
You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes,
I don't know. I would.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit
Should
in
the
this.
human race survive?
Yeah. How many of you all think the human race should survive like Peter Thiel suggests? If you think the human race should survive in the way Peter Thiel suggests, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't, put a 2 in the chat. If you totally disagree with Peter Thiel, put a 2 in the chat. Me, I'm a 2er because I'm anti-slavery. You see what I mean? It's just that simple. I'm anti-slavery. I don't give a fuck what Peter Thiel thinks about it. Most people that have intelligence enough to be anti-slavery would not even allow something like this to happen. You know, maybe people didn't catch on quick enough, but I'm not for slavery, and I'm for people controlling their own bodies, and I'm also for not having an authoritarian. I'm against an authoritarian surveillance state. You see, now you have two strong men, Musk and Thiel, basically surveilling the hell of everybody. Getting their hands on private information that is supposed to be United States citizens' own personal information. Well, they have that, y'all. They watch these streams. They monitor everybody's streams. They monitor all private information, all private data they have access to, and they plan on using it to enslave you. Now, the enslavement can be easy because they could put enough media outlets out there to convince you that it's not slavery, like the Matrix. You see, they can convince you that slavery's not so bad, right? They can convince you of that. What do you think they've been doing the whole time? They're convincing you that General Lee, the Confederacy were not enemies of the United States. No, no, no. They just wanted to keep slavery. If you are for that, if you're pro General Lee, you're pro slavery on your motherfucking self. Just understand that. If you are pro Civil War generals, you are pro slavery for yourself too. And it doesn't matter what color you are, what your gender is, what your sexuality is, what your any of this shit, if you're disabled or not, none of that shit matters. If you're pro slavery, then hey, you're pro slavery to your goddamn self too. Understand that. You too can end up being an indentured servant. You too can end up being in chains. How many white motherfuckers are in chains? They go to prison. How many of them are broke? They broke as hell. How many of them, don't have access to education in the richest country on earth while they pay federal taxes? Most of them. How many of them don't have access to health care while they live in the richest country in the United States, in the world, while people like Peter Thiel and Musk can pay for any type, while the congressional members they vote for can pay? What the fuck do you call that? That's already soft slavery. They're just making it a little less soft. They're about to bring it in a little less soft since you agree with slavery, since you actually think slavery was okay. Fuck it. Why not just bring it on a little bit more for the people that think it's okay? And that's what you're seeing, because mark my words, people that live in blue states are not fucking going to put up with this bullshit. Because we are advising people in blue states to calmly know your gun rights. Calmly register some weapons. Kindly go down and get a license to hold a weapon in a blue state. Kindly do that. Don't rush. You don't have to panic. You still have a couple weeks. You still have before the tech motherfuckers want to take away your rights to your guns. I'm telling you. Just calmly go down and do it. You have the constitutional right to bear arms. Yes, you do. You definitely do. Amen for that. Amen for that. I love that part. The founding fathers had something on their mind. By the way, it wouldn't be the first time we had to fight for our rights now. So let's get it going. A lot of people know American history, so it wouldn't be the first time. So if we have to fight again, motherfucker, bring it on. Bring it on. Nobody's fooled by this. People have been telling you about Peter Thiel for some time. They have been telling you about Elon Musk for some time. If you don't get it, too bad for you, mother effer. But you ain't going to be coming in enslaving motherfuckers just because you don't get it. You will be the slave this time. And women know what I'm talking about. Intelligent women know what I'm talking about, because intelligent women in the United States they've never got reparative justice towards women's suffrage in the United States. Women could not vote. Poor white motherfuckers could not vote. Only landowners, white landowners could vote. Aristocrats. So you got to understand this. This is not a fight of just one demographic. This is just the fight of Americans about the United States of America. And if we're going to have tyranny and slavery prevail, or if we're going to have freedom and justice prevail, it's very simple. It's very simple. Now, since Trump has been gone, there's been some leaks. The leaks, I'm not really surprised over. I've been saying this the entire time. The center of this Epstein story is espionage. And I say that with the utmost respect for the victims, for the girls. That is a travesty. You all bear the burden of slavery for techies and rich folk to control the country. You were the pawns. Your bodies were used like trash for espionage. But the espionage for the people that didn't stand up for the victims, you are now being played just like every single victim, because they've said it a million times. They've said this a million times. The victims said it. Ghislaine Maxwell told them that Pam Bondi worked for, the DOJ that Acosta worked for. Both of them got promotions to Trump's cabinet to work for Trump. You have to understand this. Because you didn't stand up then, these people got what they wanted. And what they wanted was to put the American people into slavery. They want to be the modern day slave masters. They do. And they actually hate people like you. Look at this. The company founded by PayPal co-creator Peter Thiel may have received $40 million investment from Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, that's why they don't want the financial records to come out, and they don't want the Epstein files to be released. They're protecting their own asses. This is what it is. They knew about these little girls getting raped. They're part of it. You can let them off the hook if you want. Like I said, I'm an American who's both sides of my family, born and raised in the United States. Both sides of my family go all the way back to the colonial period. But I don't live in the United States of America. So I have health care. I have universal health care. I have universal education. My kids get paid to go to school. New York Times report revealed that Jeffrey Epstein invests $40 million in Valere Ventures, a venture capital firm linked to Peter Thiel. Very interesting. Linked to Peter Thiel? Who's Peter Thiel? Between 2015, this is after he was already convicted. This is after all the rumors had been proven, had come out, and 2016. That's a long time after. That's a long time after. You know, how are you going to be so rich and you don't know what the hell is going on? You didn't know anything, Peter Thiel? Sure he didn't. Just like Elon Musk didn't know anything? Sure they didn't. They're positioning themselves. That's what that was about, you know. No problem. Position yourself with this person. Work with this person. You don't even know if Peter Thiel has been with a little girl. Does it sound like it when you listen to him speak publicly? Does it sound like that he's sympathetic to rapists? I wonder why that would be. I don't know. I'm just reading an Epstein article about Peter Thiel. Who could it be? Who could it be? I don't know. Right. It's in plain sight. Hence comprehension. The revelations highlight that financial connections to Epstein raised questions given the public comments about him. Company co-founded by PayPal, co-creator Peter Thiel may have received $40 million investment from Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report in the New York Times, Epstein made this investment in Valere Ventures, a venture capital firm associated with Thiel. All right, let's keep it going. Okay, the report claims that Epstein invested a substantial amount to Valere in 2015, 2016, long before he died in 2019. You see, that's not that long, though, before he died. And that's pretty much a lot after the allegations about this sex trafficking and all of this shit was coming out in the public. He didn't get charged with it, but the public, you know, was in an outcry about it. People were like, no, this dude was sex trafficking. Why? Because they already knew this from the victim's accounts and the victim's depositions back in Florida, long before he was indicted out of New York. This financial link between Thiel firm and Epstein had not been publicly disclosed previously, as per confidential financial analysis of Epstein's estate and a statement from the Valere spokesman seen by the NYT New York Times. $40 million investment is now reportedly worth close to $170 million. That's not a lot to Elon Musk, but but he would look at that as like, damn, do that times 4 and you got $1 billion. Epstein estate is reportedly benefiting from the returns of this investment. Yes. The New York Times report sheds light on the Thiel financial ties to Epstein, even as Thiel has publicly discussed Epstein in various contexts. Let's see here. Let's see, in various contexts. Yo, thanks, fun fact. Peter Thiel private island is in Hawaii and looks out for the Lahaina and contains a laser relay site for Mao-based Amos facility. Okay, bro, I didn't know that. And also, thanks for the for the what do they call that? Caches, something like that. What is this? This is what kind of comment is this? I'm not too. I don't know much about YouTube on that level, but thanks for the donation. I appreciate that, CSS. I'm gonna look out for you here. Appreciate it. Yo, become a member though, by the way, because I'm going to do a lot more private streams, and because they're going to get heavy. Several prominent figures in tech, including Google co-founder Larry Page and Sergey Brin, LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, and Microsoft CEO Bill Gates have faced questions regarding the connection to Epstein. In 2023, Elon Musk was also subpoenaed in a legal case tied to Epstein. Okay, there's a lot of facts, small tidbits that people should pay attention to, because these tidbits add up. They add up. And yeah, they add up, y'all. Like, again, comprehension. And yeah, the legacy media is not going to tell you what the truth is. They barely cover all the facts. I'm telling you, because they're worried about being sued by any of these people. They're worried about other things that could come about. Trump taking away their licensing. That's what they're worried about. And it can happen. It's been happening. The legacy media is under authoritarian rule right now. So they're not going to do too many in-depth stories on this. They're just not. That's not where you're going to. They might tell you the facts, but they're not going to tell you how to use your brain, you know? Now, let's continue here. Epstein maintained a relationship with many powerful and influential individuals. Some, yeah, Epstein is on that shit, boy. Some of whom were business associates. The latest revelations about Epstein's substantial investment in the Thiel-backed company are particularly ironic, given that. Why are they ironic? Given the Thiel public commentary on Epstein as more of a cultural symbol than someone he knew. Yeah, because we know you have to cover it up that way. Yeah, cultural symbol. He doesn't have a problem with slavery. God damn it. Is that a cultural thing? You know, in culture in the United States and across the world, you have to be hip. When people are talking about culture, they are talking about racism. They're talking about literally misogyny. These people see culture as misogyny and racism. They do, which is ridiculous, because there's no such thing as race. There's only something called racism. You see, like literally, people that try to go down this rabbit hole find out all the time that they're just playing with stupidity in their own brain. That's not how it works. Go get a fucking DNA test, Peter Thiel. Go get a goddamn DNA. All of these people, the first time a person put up their name and start saying heritage, I say get a DNA test, because a lot of these people have nothing to do with this heritage. They just positioning themselves, using politics that way, cheap slogans. And even if you did, it doesn't matter. The United States was founded by different ethnic groups. Founded, different people fought for the creation of the nation. Do you understand that? So you have to you got to get past this trying to make it seem like it's the same as every other society on earth. It isn't. It's a new democracy. 250 years old. It's not the oldest democracy. Okay? And it's not the oldest nation. Plenty of other nations in the West have existed longer. They may not have been democracies. They may have changed and turned into democracies. Yeah. But you got to recognize, even they understand, the older democracies, that they had different ethnic groups contribute to their societies, like straight up. And to not admit that is just to be insane and stupid. That's all that is. You can be hard-headed and insane and stupid if you want. You can have as much money as you want and as much power as you want, but being stupid will cost you everything, because everybody's not stupid. Epstein maintained relationships with many powerful and influential individuals, some of whom were business associates. The latest revelations about Epstein's substantial investment in the Thiel-backed company are particularly ironic, given that Thiel's public company, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's move on a little bit here. Is that it? Is that it for this one? Let me see. Is there more on that one? Okay, so let's go to the next one. Boom. Let me know if you can hear
Here's
this.
what the latest reporting, as of August 31st, 2025, reveals about Peter Thiel's connections to Jeffrey Epstein, leaked emails, and the surveillance community. Number 1. Financial ties. Epstein and Thiel's Valar Ventures. A recent investigation by the New York Times uncovered that Jeffrey Epstein invested approximately $40 million into Valar.
Now, if you pay close attention, you will see that they're listing underneath each paragraph, they're listing the references. So you can see here the first paragraph references the Times of India, the Daily Beast, and Wikipedia. So these are recent articles that are recent news organizations that are talking about this. Not one, but a few different ones. And each article continues to do that. I mean, at least that's how I use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT to summarize public information, new news articles that are recently published, right? I don't use it to ask it what it thinks about blah, blah, blah. I don't need to do that. You see what I mean? I use it just to pull forth what the current revelations or information is saying, in the news cycle. So here we go.
Ventures, a venture capital firm co-founded by Peter Thiel in 2015 and 2016. The Times of India, that investment, previously undisclosed, has ballooned in value to around $170 million, making it one of the largest remaining assets in Epstein's estate, which has since shrunk to roughly $200 million. The Daily Beast, though Valar Ventures expressed hope that the funds could be used for positive purposes, the estate's remaining value is unlikely to go to Epstein's victims due to standard venture capital lockup terms.
Right. So y'all hear that? This money is still floating around, and that because of laws cannot go to the victims. To me, that sounds like another word for slavery, like just accepting it. No laws. Okay. All right. That's how you want to roll.
The Daily Beast. 2. Leaked emails reveal surveillance industry networking. Leaked emails, purportedly from Ehud Barak's inbox and released by the hacker group Handala, indicate that in 2014, Epstein arranged for Barak to meet with Peter Thiel in New York, introducing Thiel into his security tech-ins. Reason.com. That same year, Epstein...
Okay, you see that? That's an interesting bit right there. Okay, leaked emails purportedly from Ehud Barak inbox and released by the hacker group Handala. Big up to Handala. Indicate that in 2014, Epstein arranged for Barak to meet with Peter Thiel in New York, introducing Thiel into his security tech endeavors. So people that don't know what security tech endeavors are, you really need to look into that, because that has something to do with your freedom and surveillance, a surveillance state. Okay?
Introducing Thiel into his security tech-ins. Reason.com. That same year, Epstein and Barak collaborated on investing in a security startup called Reporty Homeland Security.
So, would you want a child trafficker to be investing with somebody in a company, Peter Thiel, in a company called Reportedly Homeland Security? And listen to the logic. Same thing as Heritage Foundation. They use these terms to totally hide who they are, because you would trust it. You would think like, oh, they called the Heritage Foundation, they must be about American heritage. Fuck no, they're not. They're about bigotry and racism and misogyny and slavery. That's what they're about. And Reportedly Homeland Security, you think they're about securing the homeland? Fuck no, they're about enslaving the United States of America. That's what this is about. But they can't call it that. Could you get the Congress to vote on a company called Slavery of the Americans? Yeah, let's get a vote out of Congress. You think you're going to get that? No, but if they call their name Reportedly Homeland Security, yeah, you might.
Later rebranded as Carbine, a company closely tied to Israeli defense and surveillance infrastructure. Reason.com. In 2016, Epstein pitched Reporty Carbine to Valar Ventures. The proposal was considered premature and rejected, though the Founders Fund, another firm co-founded by Thiel, Later participated in Carbine's Series B funding in 2018.
See, so Musk and Thiel, they're throwing around loads of dollars. You could say no one time, and then the next proposal that comes to your door is also sponsored by them too. And then the one after that, and then the one after that. So eventually you're going to end up saying yes to them because they have so much power already. Slavery, y'all.
Number 3. Surveillance ecosystem, Palantir, Carbine, and more. Peter Thiel is a founder and longtime backer of Palantir Technologies, a company offering data mining and surveillance tools to both government intelligence and law enforcement agencies. Wikipedia, Carbine, the security startup Epstein tried to get Thiel's VC firm involved in, is staffed by high-level Israeli defense figures and offers technologies like live stream emergency responses, raising privacy and surveillance concerns. Wikipedia, Thiel has also backed seasteading concepts, part of broader libertarian and dark enlightenment philosophies, focused on escaping traditional governance. These ideas intertwine with 21st century surveillance capitalism and techno-libertarian strategies for authority and control.
Authoritarian slavery. Damn.
Wikipedia critiques of surveillance capitalism also highlight that some surveillance tech, like Flock Safety, was initially funded by a circle of PayPal-era investors, including Thiel's Founders Fund. They argue these tools serve both governmental and private interests as dual-use platforms. Dropsite News. Summary. Table. Topic. What's known to 2016.
Now, Thiel and Musk, obviously it doesn't go out there, but let me just put this for people in the chat. And don't worry about trolls, because these people pay loads of troll farms. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Trump organization, they pay, or they indirectly, if not directly, their funds end up going to a lot of troll farming. And it's not just them. Also, the Russian government uses a lot of troll farming. And what that means is that these are real people, but they're not the people you think they are. They may not even be actual United States citizens. They could be people posing as United States citizens online. So those of you that are real American citizens that are here listening and in the chat, do not be disparaged by any troll. That's all I'm saying. It's just part of what it is right now in the world. We got to get used to functioning in that way. And you need to sharpen your brain to be able to read a post and understand what type of individual is behind a certain type of comment.
Now worth once noon. Epstein connection. $40 million into
Now, who owned, wasn't Elon Musk and Thiel, wasn't Elon Musk a part of PayPal too? You see the connection? This is a small circle. This is a small circle. If Musk was down with PayPal, put a 1 in the chat. If Musk was not down with PayPal, put a 2 in the chat. I'm going to wait for a second. I just want to see who's listening here. Put a 1 in the chat if Musk was connected to PayPal. Put a 2 in the chat if Musk was not connected to PayPal. Exactly. So you see the small circle here. Y'all, don't be duped. These people are all fucking connected, and they are all vying for control over the United States government, and they see themselves as slave masters to everyone else. What they're doing has nothing to do with freedom. It has nothing to do with anything human rights, civil rights. It is anti-human rights, and it is anti-civil rights by all means. So that means anybody that had anything to do with anything civil rights, your ass is on the line. This is Nazi authoritarianism. They just put a new term on it. Like, really?
To Valor Ventures, $270 million. Leaked emails. Epstein used Barak to facilitate introductions to Thiel and to pitch.
So think about this. Think about this. Elon Musk is in the picture with Ghislaine Maxwell, right? He claimed to not know her. Then they find out later, no, he did meet them, Epstein, before that, right? Before that picture, right? But Epstein, but Elon Musk, he was a partner of Thiel's. So he knows all of this shit that Thiel is doing too. You got to understand that. And they're pretending like they have no association to what is going on. Like they're just different people, different entities, no association. That's what they all claim. No, no. They put out a hit on the United States government. And it's not a hit from the Chinese. It's not a hit from some other government that's like, hey, you know, the U.S. is has too much power in the world, too much homogeny. No, it's not a hit from one of these types. This is a hit from people that want to make the United States government control everybody on Earth. Everybody. Western powers, Eastern powers, everyone. They plan on making everyone bow down to their authoritarian will. You got to understand that, because other nations understand that's what that is. And if you're an American citizen, you have to understand that ain't good for you.
Surveillance startup reportee Carbine. Surveillance link. Thiel's Palantir, plus indirect involvement in Carbine's funding path, situate him within the broader surveillance tech network. Broader ideologies, Thiel's engagement with libertarian, techno-libertarian and anti-democratic currents, e.g. seasteading, techno-oligarchy, complements these ties. Final thoughts. Peter Thiel's involvement, as far as credible reporting shows, exists at two main intersections. One, financial, Epstein's substantial investment in Valor Ventures, requiring no personal wrongdoing by Thiel, but reflecting their funds' overlap. Number two, surveillance industry. Through connections facilitated by leaked emails, Epstein attempted to embed Thiel into his surveillance tech ventures. Though Valar passed on reportee, still Thiel's foundational role in Palantir cemented his position in data-driven surveillance ecosystems. Here are some of Peter Thiel's most controversial and unsettling comments, particularly those that have been characterized as anti-human or deeply provocative. 1. Hesitation over humanity's survival and transhumanist vision. A moment in a recent interview went viral when Thiel was asked straightforwardly, "You would prefer the human race to endure, right?" His pause, followed by an uneasy, "I don't know," before eventually answering, "Yes," struck many as chilling powib. He then clarified that he envisions not mere survival but radical transformation, humans becoming immortal, with the ability to change your heart and change your mind and change your whole body. A concept far beyond traditional trans identity, it's almost a blueprint for reinvented existence. Tech policy press. Some critics have likened this to digital eugenics or stepping toward a successor species. Tech policy press 2. Surveillance AI as communist totalitarian technology. At an event in Miami, Thiel warned that surveillance AI with facial recognition and mass data gathering is far more dangerous than speculative AGI. He called it a communist totalitarian technology, highlighting how governments might exploit it to exert control. CNBC Online reactions were swift and darkly skeptical. One, he called it a communist totalitarian technology, highlighting how governments might exploit it to exert control as communist totalitarian technology. At an event in Miami, Thiel warned that surveillance AI with facial recognition and mass data gathering is far more dangerous than speculative AGI. He called it a communist totalitarian technology, highlighting how governments might exploit it to exert.
Right. But then he's essentially is gaslighting, because he's essentially after the same, if not even more than just photographs. You know, of course you have to say that. You have to say these things. You have to mask what you're doing. Again, you're not going to call slavery slavery if you want Congress to vote on it. It just doesn't work that way. You're going to call slavery freedom if you want Congress to vote for it.
Control. CNBC Online reactions were swift and darkly skeptical. One Redditor summarized it starkly, open quote, "Thiel supposedly thinks people should be concerned about AGI. Thiel is pushing surveillance AI. Remember, Thiel doesn't believe in democracy and likes authoritarianism." Reddit, close quote. Gender diversity and democratic cynicism. His 1995 book, The Diversity Myth, co-authored with David Sachs, included passages that equated some rape claims with belated regret, implying ambiguity in consent. remarks that drew massive criticism. Thiel later apologized, calling them insensitive, crudely argued statements. He affirmed that rape in all forms is regret, implying ambiguity. Thiel supposedly thinks people should be concerned about AGI. Thiel is pushing surveillance AI. Remember, Thiel doesn't believe in democracy and likes authoritarianism.
Okay, listen to this part also closely, because this is, look, 1995, right? Okay, you see this? Now, my first thought is, how far back do their relationship really goes? Obviously, tracing these people's relationships is a task, because there's always going to be unknowns, right? There's going to be knowns and then there's unknowns. But listen to this. I mean, is this ironic? You know, when you put it in light of, in the scope of Jeffrey Epstein, what this man wrote in his book, and is this is the same trend? Look at Trump. Look at Trump. Just think about this when you hear what this man says.
Reddit, close quote. Gender diversity and
Gender diversity and democratic cynicism. His 1995 book, The Diversity Myth, right? Is diversity a myth? If you think diversity is a myth, you need to be the first person going downtown and requesting a DNA test, like flat out. If you think diversity is a myth, you are the stupidest person on earth. You are the stupidest person on earth. You have not tracked human migration at all. Not among any groups of people, period. No matter how you break it down, no matter what. Okay. But in any case, his 1995 book, The Diversity of Myth, co-authored with David Sachs, included, another name to pay attention to, included passages that equate some rape claims with belated regret, implying ambiguity in consent. You see this? You see this? What the fuck? What is this? What type of person could you call a genius that can't figure this shit out? That can't figure out what rape is? And this dude has loads of money. So if anyone was to challenge him on that and say that, I mean, this is a confession here. If anyone was to challenge him on it and say, I said no later, I said no, or I felt differently, or anything like that, this guy has so much money. Do you think any victims would come forward? This is the same exact pattern. This is the same pattern. When there's ambiguity and you throw in money, loads of money and loads of power and loads of protection, as a victim, you don't stand a fucking chance. Even if there is no ambiguity. These are the people. Did Peter Thiel come publicly and say, release the Epstein files? Is he for releasing the Epstein files? You know, because in that Epstein files, there's shit in there that there is no ambiguity.
Democratic cynicism. His 1995 book, The Diversity Myth, co-authored with David Sachs, included passages that equated some rape claims with belated regret, implying ambiguity in consent, remarks that drew massive criticism. Thiel later apologized, calling them insensitive, crudely argued statements. He affirmed that rape in all forms is a crime and regretted those passages. The Guardian. He has also been criticized for sharply anti-diversity and anti-democratic views. In 2009, he wrote that democracy and freedom are incompatible and that women's right to vote undermines capitalist democracy.
How the hell is capital? What is he talking about? Okay.
Calling the phrase an oxymoron. The Guardian. At Oxford Union, he described environmentalists, including Greta Thunberg, as part of an autistic children's crusade, disparaging climate activism in insensitive terms. Cherwell. He once succinctly remarked, I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible. Business Insider. Nahar 4. Utopian tech versus controlled hierarchy. Thiel compares Star Trek to a communist utopia, where replicators annihilate scarcity, and prefers the Star Wars vision instead, as it aligns with governance through conflict, hierarchy, and survival of the fittest. The New Yorker, this symbolizes his disdain for egalitarian progress and illustrates how his technological optimism is wrapped in individualistic, even combative ideology. 5. Anti-human or tech-obsessed? Critics have framed Thiel's broader worldview as one that undervalues organic human life. The article, The Billionaires Are Abandoning Humanity, argues that Thiel sees people as stagnated by modern culture, blaming the 1960s hippie movement post-moon landing for halting progress, and even called Greta the Antichrist.
Right. So you see, what's this guy name working for Trump, right? Stephen Martin, is that his name? Something Martin, or this guy who is the ICE dude, the one who is privatized, has some stock in these concentration camps, right? He uses the same thing when he talked about hippies in DC. He tried to describe the protesters in Union Station when him, Hegseth, and the vice president, the most pathetic man on earth, who's a hypocrite himself, J.D. Vance, visited Union Station. This dude, Stephen, he remarked that the people outside have no connection to DC. They're just hippies. You see where they're going with this? This is straight out of a Nazi handbook. This is straight out of a Nazi handbook. You got to see this. They call it hippies to get you to forget, to make people forget that the fucking hippies, whatever you want to call them, were on the side of freedom for all people, specifically in the United States of America. They were anti-Vietnam War, not because they're against defending the country, but just because they could see what it was. You got people who fought in the war coming back and getting no support, zero support. Some of the hippies were ex-military people that was like, yeah, thank you for seeing that. And so they undermined, they don't care about civil rights. And you have to understand, civil rights are there to protect everyone, even poor white people. You have to understand, when you give up these civil rights, the only thing that's coming after that is your extermination. You have to understand that. They equally do not care about poor white people. They are the next flood that comes and hits you, and they withhold federal money. It's because of this ideology. You got to understand that. So, but let alone everybody else. Now, let's go on.
The Nation, additionally, a satirical take in the New York Post, ironically positioned him as emblematic of the tech elite who diminish.
Oh, thanks, Bits. I appreciate you. No, as a matter of fact, Bits is my first member. So listen, y'all, even if you get a $2 membership, trust me, get a membership if you can, because in a month or two from now, a lot of my streams are going to be private, because I'm telling you, I can already anticipate crackdown. The closer this shit gets, the more radical the U.S. government is going to get about freedom of information. I'm telling you.
Diminish the value of human imperfections. New York Post. Summary. Table. Category details. Survival hesitation. Hesitated when asked if he wants humanity to endure. Envisions radical transformation. Surveillance AI warning. Called it a communist totalitarian technology. Dystopian control tools. Gender and diversity. Comments. Rape remarks in early work. Anti-diversity. Democracy incompatible rhetoric. Utopian dystopia, prefers Star Wars over Star Trek, values conflict over utopia. Tech supremacy, describes humanity as stagnated, values transhumanist evolution. Peter Thiel's statements often walk the line between visionary futurism and deeply disturbing detachment from traditional human values, especially when they imply human limitations are to be overcome rather than embraced. If you'd like.
All right, now listen, I want everybody in the chat to I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you're a United States citizen, and put a 2 in the chat if you're not, and mention the nation that you're from. You don't have to mention the nation that you're from, but put a 1 in the chat if you're a U.S. citizen, and if you're not, put a 2 in the chat. I observe a lot of the comments, but I just want to get a hold over the trolls, because trolls, when you ask a lot of questions, when you do these lives and you ask a lot of questions, the trolls become more obvious when you look at their answers over a period of time. So that's why I do. That's one of the reasons why I do that. See, so it's not that you have to agree for me to think that you're not a troll. You can disagree, and I will also say, okay, this person's not a troll, but trolls have a hard time answering several questions. You see what I mean? As the stream goes on, it makes it easier to kind of see what type of thing this is. And troll just means a person being dishonest about who they really are and their opinions. So there you have it. That's what. Okay. So okay, y'all just mention it when you can. When you can, you mention it. Yeah. And big up to hey, again. I'm not against foreigners. I'm not against immigrants. I'm an American from the U.S., born and raised. My family goes all the way back to the colonial era on both sides. And I see other Americans, Mexicans, Canadians, South Americans, Caribbean. I see us as having the same history, the same culture. I don't discriminate. We have Native Americans across all of the Americas, different tribes. We have European descent across all Americas, but they came at a different time now. That's a different time. That's not Elon Musk time. That's a long time ago. That's a different. These people, a lot of them understand the history, not all, but you should. Then we have African descent that also came. Right? Native people look different also. Many African descent that came to the U.S. early in the colonial period don't look all exactly the same and many people have mixed heritage now. So I'm just, letting you know that when I ask these questions, I understand it. I ask out of a respect and out of a harmony for people to get along and for us all to become stronger, not to alienate anybody, but it's just to have a good idea of who's listening and what's going on. So let's continue with this. I don't have that many minutes left, but I want to try to get through this fast. Okay, the godfather of Doge. Let me see here. Now, behind the chaotic first month of the Trump administration, right? Everybody witnessed that. Administration lies. I'm going back in time now. This is going back in time. Look, this article here was published in March, right? Look at this, March 11th, 2025. It's good to go back so we can see in retrospect how some of the ideas that people had in March, early in Trump's administration, how they've come to be true. Now, they wrote this. The godfather of Doge, right? They said Peter Thiel is really the godfather of Doge, even though you got a tag team, Elon Musk, hitting them up. They're all collaborating together. As you saw, Elon Musk taking a picture with Ghislaine Maxwell and then lying about it, saying that, no, that was the first time he met her, when it wasn't the first time he met her or Epstein. You see what I mean? Like, people don't lie unless they're involved in a cover up. It's just that simple. Click the like button and subscribe. But let's go on. Behind the chaotic first month of Trump administration lies a sweeping political vision laid out by Thiel, a billionaire tech investor, co-founder of PayPal, and destroyer of co-founder. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, co-founder with also Elon Musk. You see, they all in it together. They're all in it together. And this is a hit. Overthrow of the United States government and Constitution. Understand it very clearly. The billionaire tech investor, co-founder of PayPal, and destroyer of Gawker Shore Project 2025 drafted the blueprint for Donald Trump's war on government. Yes, Elon Musk is targeting federal co-workers with the same chopping block zeal he brought to Twitter, but Thielism predates all that. Way back in 2009, right after Barack Obama took office, back when serious thinkers were solemnly prophesizing the end of both racism and the Republican Party, Thiel wrote an essay for the Cato Institute titled The Education of the Libertarian. Oh, wait a second. Boom. Damn, that went kind of fast. The Education of the Libertarian. Let me go back here. There we go. In it, he laid out almost everything that Trump and his followers are putting into practice today. It's all there. The wholesale gutting of government agencies, the attempt to erase diversity from the historical record, the ratcheting back of regulations and public aid, even the obsessive love affair with cryptocurrency. Thiel essay presage the need to slash. Oh, this is a typo. Pre-aged the need to slash and burn all federal programs, says Becca Lewis, as a researcher at Stanford who studies the rise of what she calls techno-authoritarianism in Silicon Valley. Okay. Then it goes on to say, let's see here. Come on. Catch up. There we go. All right. Then it goes on to say, in his essay, Thiel argued, did I pause it? Yeah. In his essay, Thiel argued that the great task facing the world was to find an escape from politics in all its forms. Okay. For Thiel, that doesn't just mean bad government. It means any government, even the democratic kind. He blamed that he viewed as the sorry state of things on two culprits: the vast increase of welfare beneficiaries and the extension of the franchise to women. Now, think about this. He has no problem with welfare for billionaires. He has no problem with welfare for tech industry. He himself, they got welfare from the American people. They got American people's tax dollars. And you see, you have to have a particular kind of hate and vulgarity to you to talk bad about the very people that gave you more money than anyone else on earth ever would or ever could. You have to understand the tyranny in this, and you have to understand the hypocrisy in this, and you have to understand the state of sellout. These are sellouts to the American people, period. You are all in danger. And the cat is out of the bag because the rest of the world is watching this and they see these people as hostile to them also. You got to understand that. For Thiel, that doesn't mean bad government. It means any government, even the dramatic kind. He blamed what he viewed as the sorry state of things, two culprits. He, the welfare recipient of the taxpayers who gave him millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars through Congress. Franchise to women. He hates women, but women can't get help, but he, the billionaire, can. What the fuck? This is distorted. You have to shoot this down. When they talk to you this way, this is no different from the person. This is no different from the guy who makes $1 million in a business and doesn't even pay his own employees a minimum wage. And he's talking down about the employees for the success of his company. He's talking down to the American poor people still pay federal tax dollars. Don't you know that, Peter Thiel? Yeah, it's called the working poor in the United States of America. You don't know that? Middle class people pay you their federal fucking tax dollars, dude. And he's talking down to middle class America, like literally, and everyone else, you know. He blamed what he viewed as a sorry state. Okay, anyway, extension of the franchise to women, right? Which is that's not a small statement there. The extension of franchise to women, well, that's women's place in the society, period. The entire society. That's the woman having the right to be president. Also, seriously, these people fucking, if you would enslave your own woman, you would enslave anybody else. You got to understand that. If you look down on your own women, your own daughters, you look down on anyone else. The growing ranks of poor and female voters, he lamented, he made it virtually impossible for libertarians to prevail at the ballot box. The solution? Reject the unthinking demos and create the world not bounded by historical nation states. Think I'm exaggerating? Thiel's position here, the money quote, I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible. Yes. Listen, folks, this article was written in March, just to give some dimension to what we've been talking about. Now, obviously, There's a lot of goddamn Americans that can't fucking read. That's obvious. Or didn't read this article or didn't read any article like it. Hey, the U.S. has a lot of illiteracy. A lot of illiteracy. Yo, school is not free in the U.S. Teachers don't get paid a lot in the U.S. You know, education is really down there. It's not really it's not really a progressive field, education in the United States of America. You see, so there's a lot of people that are functionally illiterate, right? They can read, but they can't comprehend what they read. OK, this article was written in March. And obviously, a lot of people didn't get it. But in retrospect, now that you see it in retrospect, that means now the military has been put on the people. Now they're openly calling for gerrymandering. Now they're openly violating the Constitution through executive orders. And they have no problem with Trump doing this. And guess what? Do you really think that their money has bounds? Do you really think their money doesn't reach Supreme Court justices in the United States? Of course it does. Of course it does, because these Supreme Court justices that go on Trump's side each time have the same goddamn views. The same goddamn views. So why shouldn't they be rewarded, right? Right? Yo, this is an attack on the United States of America, and I've said this for over a year. I called this a year ago, and I'm telling you, anybody that's been following me for 1 year, because I haven't been doing these live streams for long, they will note that I have called this an attack on the United States of America for over a year. And I'm looking from the outside. Again, subscribe. Get the cheapest membership that you can, because in about a month, I'm probably going to be doing a lot more videos on private, just for members only. And a month, the situation in the U.S. is going to be a lot worse. It's going to be, because these people know that what is in the Epstein files is extortion, is espionage. It was all about that. Controlling the government. That's what that was connected to. And they do not want to release the Epstein files, because that will show the American people what these mother effers have been up to the whole time. And when you commit treason against the American people have to strike back. It's just that simple. They have to strike back. You know, I'm going to do another stream in the next 9-10 hours from now. But needless to say, another qualifier for this, right, is all of this stuff about slavery, all of this stuff about reigniting the colonial past, the enemies of the United States of America, the people that we fought wars against, our ancestors fought wars against and won, right? They want the right to bring all of that back. They want to treat enemies of the United States of America, generals who wanted to keep slavery, who wanted women to stay their ass in the kitchen and own no property. They want to make these people heroes. And this is just part of the scam, because they really believe it. They really believe it. Like, some of them really believe it. Some are just opportunists and on the ride and don't give a fuck which way this turns out. But this is what they're trying to sell the American people. They're trying to say that if you're Native American, fuck you. Especially if you fought in wars against the Confederates. If you are African Americans and were in the United States of America, which you were, because that's what African American means. It means your family dates back to that time, right? And and you fought in every war in the country, War of Independence, a Civil War, Korean War, Vietnam War, World War I, World War II, they're saying, fuck you. That's what they're saying. If you are a woman who fought in those wars, they're saying, fuck you. If you're an Asian descent American who fought in any of those wars, they're saying, fuck you. If you're Mexican, South American, Hispanic descent who fought in any of those wars, they're saying, fuck you. They're saying, fuck you. And they're saying, something that's really is obnoxious. And that is that them being males, and they don't even have to prove their heritage to the United States. They can just be what people call white, like Elon Musk. They're saying that these type of people have more right than even poor white people whose families have come back in those days. You know what I'm saying? They're literally saying this. And yeah. But in any case, let's take a listen, and I'll be back later on today.
It's heartbreaking to me. There are a lot of great Americans. None of them fought against our own government, period. None of them fought to uphold the enslavement of my ancestors, period. So I don't understand why Donald Trump, who, by the way, has, shocked a lot of people in his ability to appeal to black voters, is spitting in those black voters' faces by putting some of the most painful imagery that you could in the middle of our military, which we all respect and revere. So I just don't like this topic. I don't like him doing this. I know we have to talk about it, but I just want to say, it's hard for me to respect people, and I respect everybody. It's hard for me to respect people who would make the argument that this is the man we should be upholding, that somebody who led military forces against our own government to keep my ancestors enslaved is worthy of this type of treatment and respect. There are other people in America's military whose names have been taken down, Tuskegee Airmen and other people who were taken down, and this is being put up, and it's very, very, it's inexcusably bad from my point of view.
Anybody want to defend?
I agree with him completely. They removed Harvey Milk, who was gay, and he was a veteran that served and a gay rights activist, and they removed him. And this is a party of cruelty and a party that props up white supremacy. It just truly is. And they can say one thing, but you look at their actions, and they remove military people of color. They remove LGBTQ plus people. And then they prop up a guy that was a traitor to his own country, a Confederate, with a slave in the painting. That's just disrespectful and cruel.
Now, obviously, a lot of the reason why they do this is because they are trying to keep poor white people that are uneducated and know no better. They are desperately trying to do anything to keep them on board, right? At the same time, they are killing poor white people too. It's so ironic, but they have to put these tropes out there. They have to make it painfully obvious that they are for a racist Nazi state to keep that base, right? But at the same time, you have to understand they're not for this. They're actually for something way more sinister. I mean, it's not just Nazi. It's total. These people are going to drive the Western world into a war, into a world war. This is what they are about. I'm telling you, a war that will kill not just many more Americans, but many more people globally. It is not so innocent what they're up to, but they need these basic little tropes to keep poor white Americans going along. At the same time, they're willing to kill poor white Americans. You have to understand this. Like, this game is up. This game is up. So I'm going to call it right now. I appreciate everybody for listening and giving me your time. Yo, big up to the folks with the super chats. Yo, but either way, I appreciate everybody. And I don't always get a chance to respond to every chat message, but I am learning to watch a little bit more and see who's out there, right? especially the folks that get the message, right? Do me a favor. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button. But also those of you that think you got $1 or $2, I'm going to look into this membership thing and try to bring it down to the cheapest thing. The main idea is I don't want to make it too cheap, because the way these trolls operate is they try to do bad things. And so the reason why I'm trying to push the membership a little bit is to have a little way of making sure that folks that really, really, really appreciate the information have a chance to be in a space where they exist too, without all the goddamn trolls. You see what I mean? And it helps it so it gives the trolls an opportunity to support the channel and not just talk shit. You see what I mean? You see, a lot of the trolls, they don't get paid a lot anyway, you know, because they're working on troll farms. So they're real people, but they could be anywhere in the world. And a lot of them might just get, 10 cents an hour, if that. You see what I'm saying? Literally. So obviously they ain't going to want to pay $3 for a monthly membership. You see what I'm saying? So this kind of thing is going on. If you don't have a if you don't have a license to carry a weapon, my advice to you is to go out and get a license before the Trump administration or the J.D. Vance administration, the techno dudes, before they do the inevitable, which is to ban gun licensing. They're going to do something to try to restrict it. I'm telling you, I bet it, because they know American people are getting goddamn pissed about this. They know it. And they also know that blue states typically don't lean on a gun to solve every problem. A lot of people in blue states don't see guns as being the solution. But I'm just telling you, when it comes to an attack on the United States of America, everybody have to do their part. Responsible gun ownership is to defend the country against an attack. That's it. It's not to wave it around. It's not to do other things. It's to protect your freedoms, protect your community, and protect your way of life that you have fought for and you have paid taxes for and you have worked blood, sweat, and tears to build. That is worth protecting also. Yeah, so on that note, I appreciate everybody. I'll be back in like something like 10 hours from now. Everybody, do your best. Get some good sleep if you need to get some sleep. And those of you that already have slept, have a wonderful day. This is Sunday, and everybody deserves some peace. One.
They want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep, leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. On the calling up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die. You voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big scores. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like the lotus coming out of the mud with colors. I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers. Cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in the way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear, but they won't cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war. All they really want is a to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, then you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, then you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.